everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So behind me is the 2022 BMW M4 Competition, finished off in I think the best color for this model, Isle of Man green metallic. And with all the extra goodies that this particular model has, it puts the MSRP just over $95,000. We're gonna start off today's review with what powers the M4 Competition. Underneath the hood, you'll find the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder twin-power turbocharged engine paired to the 8-speed Steptronic automatic transmission, and it pumps out 503 horsepower around 6,200 RPM and 479 pound-feet of torque around 2,700 RPM. This model here has the xDrive all-wheel drive system. However, it can go into rear-wheel drive when needed. It weighs in right around 3,800 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, up to its top speed of 155 miles an hour. If you remove the limiter, that goes up to 180 miles an hour. And it has a fuel capacity of 15.6 gallons. You'll expect to see around 16 miles per gallon in the city and 23 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 112.5 inches. Its overall length is 189.1. It has a width of 74.3 and a height of 54.8 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this M4 Competition, I want to start off with the redesign for the kidney grille. This has been very controversial since it debuted, and personally, I think it looks fantastic, only on the M cars though. If it's a base 4 series, to me, it just doesn't look as good. On the M4, there's a lot more bodywork, a lot more accents running throughout the rest of the car to blend it in nicely. And you'll see for the redesign, it's much taller, it's a little bit narrower, still retains the horizontal slats running throughout it, which also provide a lot of cooling to this engine. You can see the M4 Competition badge, as well as the integrated forward-facing camera, nicely placed right in the middle. And the surround of this is finished off in gloss black, but you really see all the bodywork surrounding it, just giving it a clean look. You can see all the parking sensors. There's also a forward-facing sensor over on that driver's side. This is for the adaptive cruise and all of that technology. And then all of these contoured lines just give it a really nice look. You can see them running across the lower section. There's gloss black trim pieces over on the corners, and this also has functional air inlets on the corners of the bumper just to provide even more aerodynamics. And this has the laser light LED headlights. You'll see the DRLs too are LEDs that have a really nice C-shaped design running underneath the headlights and the high beams. And then the turn signal is in there, of course, as well. And then you'll notice too, on the top of the kidney design for the grille, those lines actually extend upwards to the hood, where you can see those corners on both sides there blended in nicely with the hood there. And it just gives it a really cool look, in my opinion. As we work our way to the side now, we have a staggered set for the wheels. They're 19 by 9.5 up front and 20 by 10.5 in the rear. This also has the M Sport adaptive suspension as well as the M brakes. This has 6 pistons up front with the rotors measuring 15 inches. They're floating in the rear with 14.5-inch rotors. You can see the gloss black side mirrors that have the integrated turn signal and a camera underneath each one. I'll show that camera system later on in today's video. And this has the carbon fiber roof option. Really cool to see that. All of the window trim is blacked out. You can see the M4 Competition badge is blacked out as well, along with the lower side skirt. Really clean lines too come off of that M4 Competition badge. You can see it just underneath the door handle as well as just behind that front tire. Really nice rake to the rear glass there. And then last up in the rear, you can see the gloss black trunk mounted spoiler to give it a little bit more flair. The backup camera is in the lower section of the BMW badge. You can see that this has LED taillights as well with a really nice design. More gloss black in the lower diffuser along with all the parking sensors. And this has the dual exit quad tip exhaust, which we'll start up here in just a little bit. So with the exterior out of the way, let's work our way to the cargo area where you can use the button to open this up, or you can just go up underneath the camera, push on that button, and this does have the power trunk, so it'll open up from there. You can see this has a lot of trunk space, nice flat surface to put in any items you need to. Over on this passenger side, there is a 12 volt along with this net and a little bit of a storage bin there where you can put some items. Over on the driver's side, we have a net along with a toolkit and a little bit more storage if you need it. And then to fold down the back seats, all you need to do is pull on these tabs here, and you'll see with the seats folded down, that gives you a lot more interior storage, which is great for a two-door vehicle like this, especially if it's your daily, makes it a lot more practical. On the underside of the trunk, we have close and lock. The one on the left will just close that power trunk. And with the exterior wrapped up, before we take a look at the interior, this does have remote start. So if I just push on the lock button 3 times in a row, you'll see the power mirrors fold in, and then it will start up. And it sounds really good. We'll get some exhaust clips here soon in just a sec. If I tap on that button 3 times again, you can shut the car off for whatever reason, and then I'll just click on the unlock button. Obviously, you can use the door handle if you'd like to lock and unlock it as well. And then looking at this interior, we have the calamari orange, which just gives it a clean look. You can see on the door panel, we have the two-tone design. All of the leather, all of the stitching just looks fantastic. There's also brushed aluminum on the release handle. It's surrounding lock and unlock. This has the 16-speaker Harman Kardon sound system. You can see all the window controls along with the side mirror adjustments. The memory seating adjustments are just behind that. There's the release for the power trunk and a little bit of storage down in that door panel. You can see M4 Competition down on the door sill, and then we get more of that orange as well as black and Alcantara on these seats. These are the carbon bucket race seats, or the M Sport seats, and you can see just how aggressive those are. The entire backing is carbon fiber. We have some cutouts on the bottom. You can see them on the top with M4 there. Just a really nice seating option. They're almost $4,000, but I highly recommend them. We're gonna be taking this to the mountains, so stay tuned for that video to see how well these seats are. And you can also see that this has the M Sport seatbelt, so we have those colors. It's also on this pull tab on the back of the seat. So if I pull that and move the backrest forward, you'll see the rest of the seat automatically move forwards to give me plenty of room at 5'10" to hop into the back seats. Now, you're not buying this for a full 4-seater vehicle. Look at these seats again, these massive cutouts on both sides. But you're not buying this for a full 4-seater vehicle. But honestly, at 5'10", I have the front seat set on my height, plenty of room for my feet and my legs. Now, my head is just up against the headliner, but honestly, I could ride around town in the back if I needed to. So if you need that extra seating or you want more storage space, this is a fantastic vehicle, especially if it's your only vehicle too. And then right in the middle, as I mentioned earlier, you can just fold down the middle seat if you need to. And then with all these folded down, you can get another perspective at all the interior storage. And we have plenty of glass in the back, so definitely provides a lot of light. You can see there's 2 air vents right in the middle, along with some USB-Cs. And we have the 3rd climate zone, so you have where you like the air to go, as well as the temperature. So that makes it a lot more convenient for anyone that needs to ride in the back. And then it's just as easy as pulling that tab, getting another view at those seats there. They'll move forwards, we can hop out, and now work our way to the front seat here as it moves back. You can see all the adjustments down on the side. So these are power operated. For an M Sport seat like this, fantastic not only to have the power, but it's also nice to have this amount of support. You'll see there's more carbon fiber in the middle, so your leg can go on each side of that. And with the low door sill, it's not hard to get in. You do have to clear this portion of the seat though, so that just takes some time to get used to. And then looking at the steering wheel, you'll see more of those M Sport colors stitched on the inside. It's solid black leather with all the carbon fiber trim. But now let's start this up. So we have that red button over on that right side. And with my foot on the brake, we can bring this M4 to life. And coming back to this digital gauge cluster, you'll see over on the left side is the fuel gauge as well as miles per hour. On the right side is the tach and the engine temperature. And then the navigation is front and center. Within the tach, there's also more information that you can go through using this button on the top section of the turn signal stock. So you can see some data information. You can also pull up your TPMS for your tires and look at that. There's also some more vital information to look at, as well as live readouts for your horsepower and torque. So if I give the vehicle some gas, you can see those adjust. You can also pull up the G-force meter. There's also the radio. You can look at what driving modes the vehicle is currently in. So all of those are displayed right now. And then you can also pull up what gear the vehicle is in as well. And then we have a live readout for the MPG, and we are back to that screen there. Now this digital gauge cluster will also change when you put it into M mode. So if I push on that button, which I'll show here soon, you can see the tach on both sides now with what gear you're in is right in the middle. The heads-up display will also change. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that, but right now it just shows the tach as well as the miles per hour. If I take it out of N mode, it's just the miles per hour. You'll see that digital gauge cluster will go back to normal. So it's really nice to see that depending on how you're driving this. And then working our way to all these controls on the steering wheel. Over on this left side is all the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings. You do have different modes between your assisted steering if you want to turn that on or off. There's also the distance pacing. The heated steering wheel controls at the bottom, as well as the M logo. Over on this right side, we have tuning and volume for the radio, as well as all the Bluetooth and voice commands. And this also has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, finished off in carbon fiber with the red backing there. Just gives it a really cool look. And then the last two buttons, we have M1 and M2. You can customize these depending on how you want to drive the vehicle. You can have them already set up if you want it to be efficient or you want it to be sporty. If you push on M2 twice, you can actually go into the xDrive system and even the M drift analyzer. So that's where I mentioned earlier, you can put this into two-wheel drive if you want to drift this and have all that information front and center. Over on the left side of the steering wheel, there's a little bit of storage if you want to use that. We have all the headlight adjustments along with one air vent. You can see all the stitching and leather on the dash there. And then right in the middle, we have that center screen with a lot more information that we can go through. On the home screen here, you can see the navigation as well as music and phone. You can swipe over, look at your setup, your engine data. We have the tire temperature as well, along with that PSI. You can look at some more information here on the last one. And then you can also adjust this screen using the rotary dial down below. So you'll see map and navigation along with home, media and phone, and the rotary dial. And then by going over all the way to the left side, these are all the presets basically. So you have your media and your phone. You can go into the navigation if you want to pull that up in full screen. And then going into the M menu here, this is how you can configure those red buttons on the steering wheel. So right now you can see for M1, everything is in efficient mode or comfort mode. The transmission is also in the regular mode as well. If I go back over into M2, I've already set this up. Everything is in Sport Plus. The transmission will shift as quickly as it can. You can see everything else is in Sport Plus. We have the four-wheel drive Sport, where you can go into just two-wheel drive depending on what you're doing for the day. You can adjust the traction control, have the exhaust on. You can turn off the engine start stop feature. So it's really nice to have that. You can go into that M drift analyzer and look at all of this, the length of your drift, the time, the degrees. Very cool to be able to see that in your drift session here. If you were understeering, your performance, very cool to see that in a luxury BMW like this. Has a lot of sporty performance to it and a lot of settings. You can monitor your vehicle status, go into your car care and monitor all of that information, your driver profiles. Definitely very cool to see. The last one is apps. This does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, perfect for hooking up your phone. You'll notice too that there's brushed aluminum just underneath that, giving it a really clean look, with another small LCD screen for all of your climate controls. You'll see all those are finished off in brushed aluminum. Just above that screen, we do have a shortcut to the intelligent safety. So you can go through your forward collision, your side collision, lane departure. All of this technology is standard. Great to see a shortcut for that. And then we have the fan speed, temperature. This does have dual zones, so you can sync those. These are even heated bucket seats too. So we have those controls along with your recirc, other AC controls. You can see all the presets for the radio as well as the volume and tuning. And then just underneath that, if I close this up, we have more carbon fiber. Really cool to see that. Leather on both sides, more brushed aluminum. But opening this back up, you can see the wireless charging port along with two cup holders, a USB and a 12 volt. We have all those controls for that center screen. And then coming to this leather wrapped shifter now. This is an interesting shifter. To go into reverse, you go all the way to the left and up. It'll hold there. You can see the backup camera up here with some designated areas that you can click on to see outside of the vehicle. We have the 3D view as well, so those cameras on the side mirrors help picture this together. So that way you can see exactly what's around this entire vehicle. Really nice to have that visibility. And then the car wash setting, you can use to pull into the car wash or even into a parking space just to give you a little bit more visibility. And we even have the backup assistance and the parallel parking. So that is great to see. To go into drive, you'll just go back, pop it over to the right there. Now that is for drive or sport mode, depending on which way you hit it. You can see park is on the back side there. And then we have the adjustability for the transmission and how quick it will shift. On this left side, you can see traction control as well as a shortcut to the forward-facing camera. So you can pull that up in full screen. We have the parking sensors you can turn on and off, as well as the engine start stop feature. And then behind that, pushing on M mode is how you saw that gauge cluster change. You can also go into the setup and adjust any information you need to with that. We have the exhaust note button that you can turn on and off. With the electronic parking brake, the auto hold assist, the M4 Competition badge. And then working our way to the center armrest, you'll see it's covered in leather. There's a USB-C, so you can charge extra electronics if needed, with a good amount of space. And then there's even more storage in the glove box for all of that information. We'll take another look at these beautiful seats. This is definitely an awesome interior, especially paired with this exterior color. Definitely looks really nice. And then we have the dome lights up in the roof. And so now setting off in the 2022 BMW M4, we're gonna do a launch control in this. So you do have to have it in the sport mode, which I already have everything. The traction is shut off. We have it over in the sport mode, but I will not be shifting myself. So with my foot on the brake, let's go. That is the coolest thing with the 2022 BMW M4 is that this is a daily driver that you could just take to work, take to the grocery store or whatever. And then with a push of a few buttons here, you can turn this into that back road, performance driving, track driving vehicle. You can even drift in this if you want to. This is a really, really nice vehicle, and I love the option of these M Sport seats. They're almost $4,000. I would spring for them, you guys, because not only are they power operated, they have heat, they have a lot of adjustments to them. For a sport bucket seat like this, you just don't see that. A lot of them are usually manual adjusting. So the fact that we have these seats is just a huge plus. Wow. I cannot wait. My brother and I are going to be taking this on a mountain trip in a few days. So make sure you stay tuned for that video because we are going to push this to its limits. As I just changed the transmission response there, I don't know if the camera heard that. It got very, very quick. This is awesome. Now, I've been in a lot of BMWs. I love all of the tech that they have, so I won't talk a lot about that in today's video with the screen and all the controls. You already saw all that. I do love the fact that we have the adaptive cruise and the lane keeping assist. So that way with the push of a button, I just set cruise control and the adaptive speed. I do have to go over to the assisted driving, and you'll see coming around this turn, it will do that turn for me. It's an awesome feature to have. Like I said, if you're daily driving this, you're maybe stuck in traffic, you don't have to monitor the gas or the brake. So for a performance-oriented vehicle like this, we have those daily driving factors that are going to make it comfortable to drive when you're not in those track setting or those back mountain road settings. And just in normal mode, coming around this turn, I am planted on the left side of this seat. Not doing anything crazy in today's video, but I cannot wait to go to the mountains. And then as far as visibility goes, I mentioned it briefly from the back seats. From the driver's seat here, we have a lot of glass. So I can easily look over my left shoulder here, look over my right shoulder. Pillars are not bulky. We have plenty of glass in the back. That has such a good sounding exhaust. So now as we switch over to the POV angle for the M4, we're gonna do launch control again so you can see what it's like to be behind the wheel. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it into the sport mode setting where we have DSC off. It's in 4-wheel drive. I'm gonna push on the M mode button here, and if I hold on it, we can go into track mode. So we activate track mode. We have the tach front and center along with what gear we're in, and with my foot on the brake, here we go. Woo! Wow. That is quick. That is a lot of fun. Whew. And we are up to speed. It tells you that launch control is activated on the heads-up display as well. Wow. You can see too that center screen went away, so that way you have no distractions. I also briefly want to talk about the small sensor above M4. I've had that in a lot of previous comments. In BMWs, that is your sensor to keep a look or keep track of your face. So when we have the adaptive cruise and the steering going, it can kind of help monitor that. There's also some lights on both sides of the steering wheel that will light up, and then this model also has the interior lighting. It's going to be very hard to see on this sunny day, but currently it's green, exactly like the car, which is a really nice touch. Wow, I cannot wait to take this to the mountains. This is phenomenal. These seats are amazing. honestly, this is a vehicle that I would put on my radar. Definitely a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed today's full walk around review and test drive, getting behind the wheel of the 2022 BMW M4 Competition. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads, as well as the rest of the videos that we have coming with this M4. I'll see you guys in the next video.